Next, we're going to tackle the sub-transmission, which is behind this cover. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 bolts to remove. They're all Phillips. So let's go ahead and see if we can't get those out.
So goodbye for us. You have to say it, baby. And us in Texas, you wanna try, baby. I know you can, I know your heart, and you will figure out you love me now, 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 you know I gotta leave. You love me now, 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 you know I gotta leave. Goodbye, you heard it, feeling me. Goodbye, you heard it, feeling me. Goodbye, you heard it, feeling me. Goodbye, you heard it. I know you can, I know your heart, and you will figure out you love me now, 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 you know I gotta leave. You love me now, 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 you know I gotta leave.
Okay, I went around and got all of them broke loose. I had to use a YPH3 bit. It's not as narrow at the top, kind of hammered into the thing. These were a little rounded. Somebody else has been in here. But we can go ahead and get the rest of these out. Alright, that should be all your bolts. Next up, we'll see. Mundane. Yeah. Now you can slowly tap your case. You got a spot here, if you can see in the camera. One right here, and then the hollow spot right here for the shifter bar. Just give it a couple taps. There's no gasket behind this. There's no gasket behind this. It's the Yama bond, just like the two halves of the case. Okay. If you've noticed, a thrush washer fell out on me. If you're curious where that went, went right here on this gear, right there. On this cover, you have a bunch of bearings. Behind this bearing, and this bearing are oil seals. If you're going to go do a full rebuild and you want to pull these bearings to clean up the cases and everything, you're going to have what's called a blind bearing puller. When you pull these bearings, any of them that have seals behind them, you're more than likely going to destroy the seals. You can buy them on eBay for anywhere from $6 to $15, depending on which ones you need. Some are a little more expensive. When you get down in here, they're more like, you know, the higher range of 15 opposed to 6. Some of these are 6. On the part breakdown from Yamaha, when you look up the part list for these, it'll show the seals you need. But here we are in the sub-transmission. That check ball we removed earlier that goes right here is on the cam for your high, low, and reverse. This is the cam. You have shift fork here, and there's one under it. The top one rides up here, right under this gear. The other one rides back behind this one. Here. Top one rides back here. Bottom one rides back here. 1 and 2. And then these are all your individual gear sets. This one is for the spider gear, which is on the back. You can't remove it right now. You have a flat washer here. Well, that's the one that fell out on me. You have another one here. One doesn't ride here, and nothing rides here. So flat washer, or shim, and other shim. Next, let's go ahead and pull out these packs. If you want to, you can start with the shift lever. The pin should just pull straight out of it. Like that. Set that to the side. And then from there you should have a little wiggle room to move your cam out of the way. Oh, my bad. Cam's held in by another rod. But go ahead and remove the rod we just spoke of. Take your first gear off. Keep everything in order. Take this first gear off. Slide this out. Slide this back together. There's that fork, and there's the shifter arm it sits in. So take all this, set over to the side. Next, behind the bigger gear we pulled, you can pull the secondary gear behind it, and it has a spacer. You can set these as they came out. This top gear, you should be able to grab it by the shaft and wiggle it and pull the whole assembly out. Like that right there. That's how it should be. That's the very topmost shaft, all its gears and everything on it. Next, the middle shaft, you should be able to pull there. This is the one that had the spacer. Smaller gear. Larger gear. And washer. Next, you should be able to pull the, yeah, this one does not come off. This one stays. It goes all the way through the case. But you should see this bolt here. If you can see it in the camera. Yeah. This bolt here. We'll need to remove it. Just offhand, it's 12 millimeter. Now you have a washer behind or above it. Here's your bolt. There's a washer behind it, or behind the bolt. It goes through the pin, and there's more stuff behind it. But now we should be able to grab this shaft and slide it out. There's your shift cam for high, low, and reverse. And then you have two washers that went behind that arm we just pulled. They go on this bolt. For the time being, you can go ahead and put it all back where it was, if that's what you want to do, or set it to the side and just remember or reference this video. Alright, next you're going to need a set of snap ring pliers. You got a snap ring on this worm drive gear, and you got a snap ring on this one, which if I remember correctly, this is the one that runs the secondary clutch, the clutch pack. We'll go with this one first. Excuse me, this is not the best pair of ones to do this with. If you can't get it with snap ring pliers, you can always do the other trusted method. Seeing as my snap ring pliers do not want to cooperate, you can always take a screwdriver, pick, might take some fiddling. You get the idea. But get the snap ring off. Okay, once you get that snap ring off, you can go ahead and slide this out. You'll have a grooved shim, goes on top of it. And now if I remember correctly, if you don't want to take the snap ring out of this. If I am remembering correctly, you can swap over to the other side of the case where the worm gear is and that big nut we were talking about. You can pull it, which I think is what we're going to do because I'm tired of fighting with snap ring pliers. Alright, can you see down here? Yeah, there's a gear down here. Mine appears to be 1 inch and 3/16. Remember, you're going to need something on the back to kind of hold it. Just watch your fingers. Remember how I said it was kind of peened over? When you got to put this back, make sure you peen it back over. Now you should have the worm drive out. And from the other side, you can pull the whole shaft. There you go. You can put your nut back on it. Now then, that's pretty much it for the sub transmission. I believe there's nothing else to pull, just bearings and cases. So we will continue onto this side. See what you guys can see here. Alright, we still have oil pump in. We still have our shifter linkage in. And our balance shaft is still in. Well, I may be forgetting something. Of course I am. Another snap ring right here on the shifter rod itself. So you need to remove this snap ring right here. Right, well, the theme of this is a mess. There's that snap ring. Should be a washer. Now you should be able to slide it out the other side of the case. By pulling down this little arm, you should be able to wiggle it out. There's another arm with like a rotator on it. You might have to move also. It's spring loaded. And now you just gotta fight all the crud on the other end of the shaft. And there you go. There's your shift rod out. Spring and everything. This rotates on the inside of this on the inside of the lobes on this cam right here. This little like spur. This is the pin or arm we were talking about pulling up. It rides right behind this and catches. And then this spot here rides on this pin. Alright, next we can go ahead and see about removing the oil pump. Maybe these bolts won't fight us. Well, I may have spoke too damn soon. Alright, there's one loose. Let's go to the other. There's two. And then you got two on the bottom. One of these holes is a little bigger than the other, so you want to rotate till you get to the bigger side. Last one. Alright. And there you can go around and pull the pump bolts out. There's one part of your oil pump. Technically, that is what the fourth bolt holds on, is the top of the oil pump itself. You may have to put the bolt back in. It's the furthest one on the bottom. And it's the shorter bolt. I just grabbed the longer one. Put this one back in if it didn't all come out as one piece. Okay. Now you should be able to take you something pry. At the bottom of the pump, you should see a little gasket. Do not pry on the rubber or the plastic. If you can't get it this way, you may have to separate the pump itself. Which it looks like we are going to have to, so we'll have to take this bolt back out. That way we don't wind up damaging the gear. These sometimes do get really stuck. Let's go ahead and pull that back out. Go ahead and separate it by pulling our shaft out. There should be a little pin that goes in the shaft. We about lost. Set that over to the side. And take the top off. There's a little roller and everything in here. That's the primary piece for the pump, but that's fine. See if we can find something to wedge under this. Alright, it's wiggling out. Keep wiggling it. There you go. There is a gasket on the back of it, which is what we were stuck on. Alright. Now inside you see how this piece rotates and this piece rotates. Everything just kind of rotates. What you want to do is you go to put it back together. Take your cover, slide back over the oil pump gear. There'll be a little pin you don't need to lose, which I may have just lost. Never fret, but it's a little pin, slides through the hole, and you slide the top back over. Not exactly how I'm doing now. I'm not being kind of graceful today. But yeah. Slide something together back, something like that right there. I'll find that pin. It's up here on the table somewhere, just under everything. And we're going to call it right here. Next we'll remove the shift selector. cam, and we'll move the top piece for the gear itself for the counterbalance, and then we'll be ready to start splitting the case.